Hello, my name is Markus Römer. Today we have a very interesting GMP Detox session. We will go to the shop floor today. We go to the production, to the manufacturing, to packaging, and I want to give you an overview of PLC systems or process control systems, something like this. So I decided to have my starting point with an US FDA presentation of the CSA approach. There was a session in 2022 and the US FDA provided this presentation, and I just have taken out one part of that because the CSA guidance for industry is intended to describe computer software assurance as a risk-based approach to establish confidence in automation used for medical device productions. Anyhow, this session can also be applied for the pharmaceutical industry. I just have used that because CSA is very often misunderstood. So I just have taken this. So we go into production, same applies to quality systems, but today we stay with the automation, whatever the automation is, if it's an automated equipment, machinery. So I'm not an English native speaker. At the end of the day, as a European, I would see it as a computerized system in any case. So some background to that. In Europe, there was a directive of the European Parliament in 2006, a directive. The opposite of that, or the other way in Europe, is to have a regulation. And in 2006, whenever system integrators were asking me which provide an automation or a machinery, a PLC system, but it could also be something else, was asking, what do we need to do for validation? We heard about GAMP 4, GAMP 5, whatever. And I said, basically just follow the rules. You will get a CE branding, for example, and if you produce a machinery, I just call it now machinery in the official context of the European Union, there is a directive since 2006, a quite very good one. So in 2006, not very surprising. I just need to scroll a little bit today. I'm sorry for that. Don't be too irritated, but you see there are a lot of things written. We will go to page 20, I guess. I have highlighted it and I still must search it. There is indeed a section, especially for the pharmaceutical industry, cosmetics, pharmaceuticals. So it does not work like I want it to work. Then you have a little break. Here we are in chapter 2. Not really surprising. There is a supplementary essential health and safety requirements for certain categories of machineries. For example, here in section 2.1, foodstuff machinery and machinery for cosmetics and pharmaceutical products. Very interesting. And here you see the requirements that you must fulfill. If you have implemented that, you are a supplier, a system integrator, and you provide a machinery automatization to the regulated industry, medical devices or finished pharmaceutical products, you must follow these requirements. And these requirements, like materials in contact with product, the surfaces, liquids, gases, aerosols, and so on, are exactly the GMP requirements. So you just need to follow the requirements. Sometimes if I'm doing audits, the directive and regulations that the companies must comply with are not even known. So it's very important to follow the rules in general, and then you get the GMP compliance on top on that. That's no problem. Okay, that was the directive from 2006. That was replaced last year by the European Parliament. on the 14th June 2023. The new regulation came into force in July 2023, but it has a transitional period. The Machinery Directive will no longer be applicable starting from January 2027. So we have now, it was changing. The European Parliament is doing that now very often, from a directive where you also have the national laws to a regulation. And this regulation is quite very good. I had very high expectations to that in the last 2 years, that they will put in more information about artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, whatever. Not everything is artificial intelligence, by the way, but that they will put in here some more information on that. This didn't happen, unfortunately. I just will go to the sections that I have highlighted, because they need to refer to link to other regulations, but it is already here in the scope, and that was also the reason why the directive from 2006 was replaced by this. Not really surprising. Even here in the new one, you see also here the requirements for the CE marking of a product. With the CE marking, you also show that you comply with that regulation or with the directive in the moment we are in the transition period. And this is a very important thing for validation. Yeah, I just highlighted it here. CE marking means a marking by which a manufacturer indicates that machinery or a related product is in conformity with the applicable requirements. These are the applicable requirements. Sometimes in validation projects of automation systems or machineries, computerized systems, I check the CE marking, and I just say the CE marketing. If I ask, how did you check the applicable regulations? Because again, you find this also here in chapter 2 for the pharmaceutical industry. So they just have taken this. Give me a second, please. I will jump to it. Today we scroll a lot, I know that. So where is it? See, vibrations, everything is in there. If you have machineries, and here machinery and related products for foodstuff, and machinery and related products for cosmetics or pharmaceutical products. Again, there are these requirements, and these must be verified by the supplier, and these are also a very important part of the validation or qualification of the machinery and so on. Here you can also, for example, refer to the US FDA, have a kind of a list of materials which are allowed to be used within clean rooms, for example, things like this, but the regulations are there. So regarding artificial intelligence, the new regulation is very brief, but I can understand that. I was only disappointed for 1 minute, and then I was thinking about that. Yes, it's not good to have a machinery regulation with all the artificial intelligence stuff in it. There must be 2 regulations for that, and this will come shortly, and some parts already have been done. But the machinery regulation, check in your supplier audits if they are known, if they are followed. The things are basically there, and it's not needed to put a lot of extra efforts if you are a PLC programmer or you provide a machine, to put a lot of efforts on top of that. The regulations are there. But if you want to have some more background information, and because I'm here in Germany and Siemens is a great company, all the information that I'm showing now, the next 3 ones, is freely available. Siemens does provide a validation support manual. Where is it? It has 216 pages. And if you scroll down, you will see a lot of very interesting stuff, how they plan to do a validation. This validation support manual, now it's a little bit of time travel. Let's call it GAMP 1. That was the birthday of GAMP. At this time, it was prepared by Kemper Masterson. They did it quite very good in 1997. So this is a very old document. But if you look on the validation manual, it describes the validation of an automation system of a machinery very, very well, with all the things today with ISPE GAMP 5nd edition. Some things are a little bit different, but there is enough of background information. So if you talk to a system integrator and they are partner of Siemens, you will find something similar. Also, not to forget all the others, ABB, Rockwell, Allen Bradley, Invensys, Schneider, whoever is there on the market. Basically, they're all very similar. But Siemens have prepared it very, very well for the pharmaceutical industry, most probably because there's a lot of pharmaceutical industry in Austria, Switzerland, and Germany, and Siemens is a German company, so they did it very well. You find here a validation support manual with a lot of interesting information, with a lot of ideas which have been taken over one-to-one to GAMP 3, to GAMP 4, and then you can find that in GAMP 5 to improve your understanding of validation of process control systems, PLC systems or something like this. You also find here the supplier quality manual in here, flow diagrams. I would change that today a little bit with IQOQ and that stuff, and if we still call it FDS, doesn't matter. Siemens does also provide an engineering manual. They are all a little bit older, but they're still very good. Guidance for implementing PCS 7. That's a process control system in a GMP environment, with a full set what needs to be done. So the things are here, and I would say just read it and apply it in your provision of systems and automatization machinery. Same again for Siemens WinCC. That's an HMI unit. You see it here. So here, stainless steel, clean room, blah, 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 all that sort of stuff. And again here, what should be done to have an audit trail and so on. There are quite very good things in here, the manuals and so on. So the things are there, or how to apply an electronic signature even in this application. So I just want to give you some how-to things. We will not read here 300 pages in a YouTube format, but quite very interesting if you see that in the directive, the regulation. Then the suppliers of the systems, of the architecture, are also providing this. And yes, now to totally give an overview on that, there's also a quite very good GAMP good practice guide. You know, there's the GAMP 5 document on top, and below that there are currently 15, 18 different good practice guides. And in 2011, there was a written good practice guide, which is called Risk-Based Approach to GXP Process Control Systems, because a process control system should be validated in a different way, like you would validate your IT systems, like an ERP system, MES, LIMS, EDMS, EQMS, whatever. So if it's IT related, usually here for process control systems, you would also do an FAT and an SAT, FAT factory acceptance test and a site acceptance test. Funny or not, you will find exactly these definitions in the old validation manual from Siemens from 1997. So the ideas have been taken over. And here you could also purchase this good practice guide from GAMP with the key concepts, with different quality risk management approaches, an example for assessing different types of suppliers, the impact of phased delivery, for example. So that is a quite very good one. And what is also quite very interesting, referring to other good standards like the ISA S88 for process automatization. Okay, so there's no need to reinvent the wheel. We have the directive, the regulation. The regulation is defining what should be done for a machinery for the pharmaceutical industry. We have very supporting documents from the suppliers, here from, I have only shown Siemens. I know the others also have this one, but Siemens is doing that very, very well. And then you have also this GAMP good practice guide. So today we have been at the shop floor. Again, don't reinvent the wheel. No need for that. The things are there. And it's important to validate your machineries because they are the closest systems to the product. Sometimes I'm wondering how extensively systems like an SAP system or something are validated, and then you go on the shop floor and the machinery which is there and in direct contact with the product, with the medical device or with the medicinal product, that there the validation is sometimes very brief and that is to some IQ, OQ, stuff like this. So we could do better, and I hope you get some sources for that. Again, directive will be replaced by the regulation and then some Siemens documents. Okay, today we have been on the shop floor. I hope you enjoyed it. Give me a like, subscribe to this channel. Next sessions are planned.